Welcome to Behind the Experience, the car show. I am your host, your conductor, your one and only. I am your host, Anthony McCrary. So I'm just gonna dive right on into this because when I read this, I was like, what the what? What? So my first question is when we are buying and purchasing a vehicle, are we really reading, you know, what we are actually signing up for? Do we have a full understanding of that? Do we know exactly what the term is? Do we understand what those payments equal up to? Do we understand all of that? I'm going to get to the article in a second that made me think of this. Now, whether it's real or isn't real, this was manufactured, whether this was for Facebook clout and all this other stuff is a different story in a different conversation altogether. But it raises a good point because what I find people doing when they enter into the dealership is that they, for the most part, don't have a full grasp or understanding exactly what they are signing up for. And tonight on the show, I'm going to help you kind of through that and questions that you may need to ask, not just yourself, but questions that you may need to ask your salesperson, questions you may need to ask financing and all that kind of stuff and all that great jazz before you truly take full on ownership of the vehicle. Now, there are other questions that end up coming up as well. Like, good example, one of these questions I'm going to answer is why does my payment change, or what makes my payment change after I agree to some number with my salesperson, and by the time I get my first bill, it's something totally completely different. Well, I'm going to go through all of that. So buckle up, hold on tight. This is Behind the Experience, the car show. All right. So earlier today, and it was actually yesterday when I saw it, and it kind of hit social media really more so today, there was an article out that a young lady, now again, whether this was real or not real is a different conversation altogether, but I'm just going off the premise. I'm going to assume that this actually happened. And does this happen? Yes, in some form or fashion. What happened to this young lady does happen in some form or fashion. I can just tell you that just by being in the industry. Yes, this does happen. So the article that I read today, actually yesterday, was that a young girl purchased a 1998 Ford Escort for $289 a month. Ooh, wonderful, great, wow, low payments, right? Woo, awesome. Well, problem is, it's a 1998 Ford Escort, and she signed up for 84 months, which, just in case you don't know what 84 months actually is, 84 months is 7 full years. All right, so 7 years. Okay, so let's do some math, right? Because that's what the car business is. That's what the car industry is pure math. And I don't know why math works in any other aspect of our life when it comes, and we don't question it. We go to the grocery store, we go to Walmart, we go anywhere else, and we do not question the math. We do not question price. We don't question anything else. We don't question gas prices when they go up and down. In a week's time, gas prices can go up and down, a matter of 5 to 10 to 15 times, and we don't even think about it. Because why? Because we know we drive vehicles, we're going to need gas, right? So when it comes to math, and when it comes to the car industry especially, we want to question the math and why math doesn't seem to work, and especially for minorities. Now, I'm not saying that we're the only ones being taken advantage of, but for some odd reason, we seem to be the ones who are behind the eight ball. So in this article, right, like I said, she purchased a 1998 Ford Escort. Now, they've not made the Escort for a very long time. So let's just go ahead and put that in there. The Escort itself is going to be old just by the fact that Ford has not made the Escort in an extremely long period of time. There is going to be a group, there's a whole generation that has no idea what the hell a Ford Escort even is, right? Period. So, and she purchased it for 84 months. Let's do the math on that. So if you do 84 months, if you do 289, that was her payment, and just do 84 months, put it in your phone, put it in your calculator, put it in any device that's going to give you a mathematical figure. That comes up to a grand total of $24,276. Well, if she kept this vehicle for 84 months and continued to pay her $289 a month. Oh, by the way, just in case you want to know the interest, that was 20%. And that 289 is calculating that 20% interest. Yes, are people paying 20% interest on vehicles? Absolutely. You better believe it. There's plenty of people. And this is what I was talking about. If you caught the Billy Graham show, this is kind of what I was talking about when it comes to people who have less than perfect credit. You know, those people in particular are going to be hurt by everything that's happening as far as inflation goes, far worse than those people who have outstanding credit, those people who are well-qualified buyers and things of that nature. Because people who are well-qualified, guess what they're going to be able to do? They're going to be able to wait it out. They just are, just period. So that's why it pays to have good credit. That's why it pays to pay your bills all the time. That's why it pays to get credit repair. Anyway, so if she kept this vehicle for the full 7-year term, she would end up paying $24,276, right? Remember what I told you what the vehicle was. It was a 1998. We have people watching this show who was born in 1998, right? So a 1998 Ford Escort. I don't even want to know the mileage because I can tell you what that car's worth. Some people would say it's worth $1,000. Some people would say it's worth $2,000. Let me tell you what that car's actually worth. That car's worth $1 in my business. It's worth $1. I don't care what the mileage is. It's worth $1. Because remember, vehicles are depreciating assets. They do not appreciate. They do not gain value over time. They depreciate. Now, again, like I said, whether this story is real or not real is a completely different story altogether. But it brings me to this point and this question that I have for you, the audience. When you're going to purchase a vehicle, do you know exactly what it is that you're signing? Do you have a full understanding of the payments and the interest and how that plays out? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you don't, I'm here to help you understand that. This is what tonight's show is about. So this show to me is more critical than any other show I've ever done because it's going to help you understand payments and how they work. Now, for the most part, a car is the second most expensive, item that we will ever purchase in our lifetime, right? It is built upon what is called a simple interest loan. What that means in particular is that you will only pay interest on the time that you actually have it. So if you have it for 3 years and you pay the loan off in 3 years, you've only paid 3 years worth of interest. If you keep the vehicle 7 years and it takes you 7 years to pay the vehicle off, well, you have paid 7 years worth of interest. Now, remember what I told you. Again, in this article, I'm not saying again that this is a real story or a fake story. I'm telling you what's on social media. I'm telling you what this article said, that it was a 20%, that she had 20% worth of interest. Good God. Oh my goodness. On a 1998. Now, again, her payments were low, and I'm not here to judge her whether it was whether this was something that a difference between her feeding her family, not feeding her family, something that, because remember, in the Billy Graham show, on Thursday, I told you that you may have to look for vehicles that fit your budget more. And the way that you do, the way that you go about that is, are you okay with higher mileage? Are you okay with the vehicle being a little bit older than you would like it to be? Well, in this case, she purchased a 1998. 1998. That even sounds weird here in 2023. That sounds weird. I can tell you what I was doing in 1998. Okay. I can absolutely tell you what I was doing in 1998. All right. I was either in 6th or 7th grade in 1998. And for those people who are much more seasoned than I am, they can tell you they were in full on adulthood in 1998. So the fact that she purchased a vehicle that of that year just to get her payments at 289 raises the question, do you know what you are signing up for when you are getting these vehicles with these type of payments? Is it truly budget related? Now, I'm not here to judge anybody about what they have to do because we are in the middle of, inflation and it's continuing to go up. Hell, I read an article the other day, it's Saturday, that said that, well, they're going to have to push us into a recession. And the way that they're thinking about doing that is by continuing to raise rates to the point where, guess what? We don't purchase anything major, right? And with us not being able to purchase anything major, it's going to push us into a recession. Not just that, but the way that they're going to do it, when rates go up, people stop buying stuff. So let's dive into this. You're going to pay 20 overall if she keeps this for 7 years, and if this is a real story. If she keeps this for 7 years, she's going to pay $24,000 for a vehicle that's, in my industry, is considered to be worth $1. Think about that for a moment. Put your mind around that for a moment. Just the vehicle itself is worth $1, meaning it's really worth nothing. And at best, $500, right? Oh, super best, $1,000. Regardless of whatever dollar amount that you want to put on it, it's you and everyone here can agree that it is not worth $24,000. But that's what she is going to end up paying. Again, put it in your phone, put it in your calculator, put it in any device that's going to solve this mathematical equation. And all it is 289 times 84. And that's including that 20% rate. $24,000. So let me tell you how payments work, because it brings to like a much larger question and issue. So if we go and we want these low payments, because 289 sounds like a great deal, right? That's kind of what everyone's looking for, the $250 to $400 range, right? Well, remember, the way to get that now because of inflation is you're going to have to go older. You're going to have to go to a much older vehicle. You're going to have to go to a vehicle that has higher mileage on it. It's not going to be a 2020 unless you're going to drop some serious money on it. And again, remember, I told you money down does nothing but help you. Well, in this case, I don't know if she put money down. To me, it doesn't even matter. Now, it could be for this article, it's just a vehicle to get her from point A to point B. It could be something just to get her to work to make sure that she is feeding her family. So I do not want to come off as someone who is bashing her. That's not what this is. So please, please, please understand, I'm not bashing her for what she did. What I'm overall looking at is for people and the consumer to understand that this is happening all over the country. Now, is it to this extreme? No, not necessarily. But is it to some type of extreme? Absolutely. So when you go in and you purchase a vehicle, right, and you sit down and you pick the vehicle out and they want to get you all excited and they make you test drive and, ooh, I'm excited. Yay, I want this car, right? And your payments come to $600 a month, right? and you're doing, $30,000. So again, putting your phone, putting your calculator 600 times whatever the term is, and that is at zero or whatever percent that they have preconceived for you, right? That is going to be kind of the rough draft of where, if you kept this vehicle for the full term that they said, 72 months, which is 6 years, or 84 months, or whatever the case may be, that's going to be what you're going to end up paying for this vehicle by the end of the term. Now, are there ways around this? Yes, absolutely. One thing that you can do is make extra payments, because remember, it's a simple interest loan, and a simple interest loan is you are only going to pay interest on the vehicle or an item for as long as you actually have it and are making payments on it. So if you pay it off early, for the most part, if you buy it from a reputable dealership, from a reputable company, there isn't any extra fees or penalties or anything like that that you are going to have to pay if you decide that you want to pay this vehicle off early. How then can you combat not paying $24,000 for a vehicle that's worth $1,000 at best? Well, the answer is very simple. I literally just told you. Pay extra on it. So how about us as Black people? How about us as minorities decide to take our tax dollars and put it on and make extra payments towards, or make that one of our payments? Well, that puts us ahead. Why does that put us ahead? Simple. It's eating the interest. And if you can do that, and it's just like your home. They tell you every single year, people go out and buy homes, and they have these 30-year mortgages and things of that nature. They tell you the formula really quick, and one of the first few things that your realtor is going to tell you, if you want to pay this off early, fine, go ahead and do that. The way that you do that is by making one extra payment a year. One extra payment a year. And by doing that, you will actually cut the term in half. Because remember, interest is accrued daily. So here's some of that insider information. How is interest accrued daily? What is it actually called? Well, in our business, the automotive industry, it is called a per diem. So when you call and you go to a dealership, you want to trade in your vehicle, and you hear the word daily per diem, that's actually the daily interest you are paying on the vehicle. So when you go and get your 10-day payoff, your 15-day payoff, your 20-day payoff, or whatever it is, they've just accelerated that interest, that dollar amount, into your overall payment. Not payment, but the payoff. So I'm gonna let that sink in. Again, your per diem or daily interest rate is what they accelerate to get to add to your payoff. So when you go to your Truist account, when you go into your Santander account, when you go into your Exeter account, when you go into your NEMAC account, and it gives you a number right then and there, that may or may not include the daily per diem. You have to actually go within that app to find, or within that website to find your payoff information. It's going to be hidden. They purposely hide it from you because they don't want you to know what your payoff actually is, because more times than not, it's higher than what they are showing you, because they have not included that per diem. They've not included that extra interest over that 10-day, 15-day, 20-day span. So when you go into it and you see that, let's just say your payoff's 20,000, right? But then you go off to your payoff request or a 10-day payoff or whatever the case may be, however they word it, and you see that your payoff is not 20,000, it's actually 21,000. Well, it's because that 21,000 is the daily interest that they have accelerated to 10 days. It's kind of that simple. So my question again to you is, do you know what you are signing when you go and you purchase a vehicle, even when you purchase a home, any large purchase? Because again, the vehicle is the second most expensive item you ever purchase in your life. A home is the most expensive, right? So do you know exactly what you're signing? And for minorities, what's happening is that we are being taken full advantage of because we don't know this. We don't know how to buy things. So they take full advantage of our ignorance. They take full advantage of us. I'm not saying she was taken full advantage of. She did the best, whatever she could for her family right then and there. Again, whether the story is real or not, it raises a bigger point because this is happening to it within this industry, and not just in this industry, but in the homing industry, but to minorities especially. And I'm not just talking about Black folks. I'm talking about Hispanics. I'm talking about Asians. I'm talking about everyone who is considered a minority in this country. It's happening to all of us. And until we get down to the nitty gritty, until we understand how this stuff works, we are going to continue to be taken full advantage of. Now, if this is a real story, I feel sorry for her because at the end of the day, this is wrong. This is not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to be paying in 7 years $24,000 for something that's only worth $1,000 at best. That's at absolute best. Again, it's a 1998 Ford Escort, meaning that they probably had to sell it to her for probably $12,000, $13,000, which you and I again both know it ain't even worth that. It's not going to book for that. So on the Billy Graham show last Thursday, when I said that we need to be more researched more so than ever, this is what I'm talking about. We have to understand that not everyone has our best interests at heart. We have to understand that these people are going to assume that we're stupid. They're going to assume that we're ignorant. Excuse me. They're going to assume that we don't know what we don't know. They're going to assume that they are dealing with someone that is not in the know. Well, I'm here to put you in the know because this is not going to happen to anybody on my watch. And this is a bad representation of what it is that I do on a day-to-day basis. I don't take advantage of people. No one in my dealership takes advantage of people in this type of way. So again, even though it sounds great, oh my God, she's got a car for $298 a month, which is an ideal payment right now because of where we are economically and financially in this country. That sounds great, $298, but you have to look at what it is that she purchased. She will never be able to trade it. She will never be able to sell it. No one is going to buy a 1998 Ford Escort for 13 grand. It's not worth 13 grand. I've got a 2017 Pathfinder SL that's only worth 18 grand. You think a 1998 Ford Escort is going to be worth 13? I hate to tell you, that's not even close. I've got 2018, 2019 Versas, Nissan Versas worth that with 30,000 miles, 40,000 miles, 50,000 miles. You think a 1998 Ford Escort is worth 13 grand? Not even close. So again, the question is, do you know what you're signing up for? Payments on vehicles, and it's just kind of where we are, which leads me to this next point is I also read an article about a guy. He purchased a vehicle, and it was in Canada because I think now Canada is starting to feel the crunch of the shortage, so to speak. Vehicles are not as available as they once were. 1998. That's crazy. 1998 Ford Escort. But this guy in Canada, he was going to purchase a Telluride. Now, remember what I told you last week on my show that Kia is one of the most reliable brands overall that you can purchase. They actually have the gold bar. One of them, and that's by JD Power, by the way. Kia is one of the most reliable brands that you can purchase right now, just as a whole, just the entire brand, right? So he goes to purchase his Telluride. He has to wait on it. He puts down $1,000 deposit, right? And when it came in, they told him that he had to pay an additional $2,400, additional fees and costs. And and what they told him, it was a market adjustment. All right. So Canada may be just now feeling this, but we here in the States have been feeling this for about a year and a half. That additional cost, you can call it market adjustment, you can call it addendum, you can call it whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. It's an additional fee taxed on. And of course, he was completely, totally outraged, and he was, and well within his right, don't get me wrong, well within his right to be outraged. And he was like, this is a ripoff. How dare you guys stealing money for us and blah, 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 right? Well, let me tell you something that no one else is going to tell you. So when a vehicle hits the lot at a dealership, they are within their rights to charge any additional whatever they want to charge, because the dealer, the dealer has ultimate say in what they are going to charge you for a vehicle. Now, because of the shortage, the supply and demand of it, dealerships across the country, and not all of them, just some of them. I'm not even going to say the majority of them, and it could be the majority of them though. Dealerships are charging additional over MSRP because these vehicles are so high in demand and there are so few of them out there. And dealer trading isn't something that they are able to do right now because there aren't enough of them out there for them to get from another dealership. So you may find that when you're going to purchase a vehicle that the MSRP on this is $40,000, right? But when you go to purchase it at your local dealership, the vehicle itself may be $45,000, $46,000, $50,000, $55,000. They're well within their right to do that. Understand that. How can you combat this? Well, couple of things. Remember when I said money down does nothing but help you? This is where that is going to come into play. You have to combat this by now bringing an investment. Now, remember at the beginning of this, I said that, in every other industry, mathematics works and we don't question or anything else. So right now, depending upon where you are in the country, eggs are astronomically high, right? There's some places, some people are paying $7, $8, $9, $10, $11, $12 for a carton of eggs, right? That doesn't mean there are any less chickens in the world. That doesn't mean there are any less, chickens laying eggs. No. And how this came to be is again a different conversation altogether. But what I'm saying, because the supply is so low, but the demand is still so high, are they taking advantage? Maybe, maybe not. Some places, sure, they're taking full advantage because they know eggs are an essential part of anyone's refrigerator. You can look in, 9 out of 10 Americans' homes right now. And I'm pretty sure if you look in their refrigerator, guess what you're going to find? Eggs. Just kind of a part of anyone's refrigerator, whether they've got anything in it as far as meat or anything or not. For a fact, you're probably going to see milk and eggs. And those two items are higher than anything else. Why? Because they are what we consider essential in anyone's refrigerator. Well, vehicles, for the most part, are essential, right? So with that, and of course, the article goes on to talk about, well, there was a chip shortage and everything else. Now, whether that was manufacturing, your conspiracy theorists out there, that's a different story altogether. But the fact remains that this happened. There aren't as many vehicles out as there were pre-pandemic times. Now, is that slowly coming back? Sure. But are dealers taking advantage of that? Maybe, maybe not. Sure. But they know what they have is an in-demand item. For Kia, the Telluride is the best third row available, period. Bar none. It's not even close. The Telluride is the best third row vehicle that you can buy. And it's not just me saying that. JD Power says that. Again, it's one is the rating service that is used throughout not just our industry, but most industries. If anything is JD Power certified, oh my God, it is one of the best of the absolute best. And if JD Power says you are one of the worst, guess what? You are one of the worst of the worst, period. Right? So this guy, he was like, I'm not paying $2,400 extra dollars for the Telluride. Well, I get it. So, the dealership tried to work with him and say that, we'll just wait for another one to come in. But here's the thing. They don't know when another one's going to come in. They don't know when they're going to get their next one that, specifically to what he wants. Anyway, I'll say it that way. So with that being said, my question to you then is, are you willing to pay the extra to get what you want now, or are you okay with waiting? Because that wait may be a long time. I remember kind of in the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people don't know this, before they came out with the new Toyota Tundra, the Tundra plant actually burned down. It actually had so much damage that they couldn't make Tundras where they normally made them. So it made the Tundra, which is already just a hot item for Toyota anyway, it made them even more scarce. So there were people waiting on a Tundra for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. Some people a year. Are you willing to wait that long? Now think about what happened in a year's time. Hell, let's go back 3, 4 months ago. Because in that time, guess what happened? Rates raised up. And again, your dealership has nothing to do with the rates raising up, because that's all the Fed that does that. The Federal Reserve. When I say that, I'm not talking about the U.S. government. I'm talking about the Federal Reserve, which is an independent entity all to itself. The government does not control the Fed, by the way. That's just sidebar. So the Fed raised the rates. So what they thought they were buying this vehicle for, when it came into dealerships, hey, they probably got the same speech. Oh, well, the vehicle's here now. Yay, you can come pick it up. Woo! But now it's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 more, because as opposed to me on a truck getting 6 of these, I only got 2 of them. And there are 50 people waiting on them. I called you to see if you were wanting to get this one, or were you wanting to wait the additional 8 months, a year, until I get another one. That is forcing people to do what this young lady did, which is, well, let me go find a vehicle just so I can get point A to point B. Let me be able to make sure it's in budget and take care of my family. Let me make sure I'm able to go to work, that kind of thing. Please, 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 ma'am, please, sir, please understand. what you are signing up for. Please, ma'am, please, sir, understand that just because something sounds great and sounds good doesn't mean it actually overall is. Now, for the time being, sure, but I'm going to tell you some advice that my aunt told me. Do what you can do until you can do better. Now, I'm pretty sure if it was me and I just had to sell that to her and that was the only thing that she could get approved for and that was the only thing that she could get, I would have told her right off bat, listen, I'm not asking you to marry this. I'm telling you do not keep it. But what I am telling you, if this is what you need right now, I'm asking you to date it. And most of us have been in worse relationships than the time than I'm asking you to date this vehicle. Because there's no way in the world that I would have her paying $24,000 for a vehicle that's only worth $1,000 at best. That's insanity. Now, are dealerships still charging addendum? Sure. Now, is there a little more wiggle room with the addendum now than there was, let's just say, a year ago? Absolutely. Is that wiggle room a lot? Not necessarily. And it depends on the dealership because not every dealership is charging addendums. So you could combat it that way. Go dealership shopping. The dealership that you've been dealing with for the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Oh, my mom bought a car here. My aunt bought a car here. My dad bought a car here. You may need to go elsewhere. Because they're only doing what's best for them at this point in time. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is right now. Because again, we're in the middle of inflation. And it's still going up. Inflation has not plateaued. It's still going up. And remember, the book value, what your car is actually worth, is still going down. I was having a conversation with my managers today. I was having a conversation with a couple of my colleagues all at the same time. And I was saying that, that at some point this is going to have to change because it is. And the manufacturers are going to have to do something about this. And they are. They just are. Are we going to be looking at, 2007, 2008 all over again? Maybe. Probably, if you want my honest opinion, probably. I think this is an issue that the only way to solve it is the manufacturers are going to have to get involved. And what I mean by that is that these manufacturer banks is what I'm talking about. They're going to have to start offering, 1.9 for 72. Rebates are going to have to come back in a major way because now we're going to be talking about well-qualified buyers, having kitchen table conversations about repos. And that's not something that you need. That's not something that you want to have, your 750 plus club talking about and actually doing. 8% of, well-qualified buyers have already done it. That number is going to grow because of what the automotive industry and even the housing industry has done to people over the past year and a half, 2 years, Which brings me to this. So when you actually go into a dealership and you agree to numbers with your salesperson, oh my God, I got this payment, right? Why does my payment end up changing by the time I get my first bill? By the time I get that first car note in the mail, it's something completely and totally different. This is where I think minorities, for the most part, are missing it badly and where we are getting it totally and completely wrong. Because one, we don't read. I'm not saying we aren't good readers. I'm saying that we don't read the contract. We're not listening and we're not understanding what is being said to us. This is the time when we go into the business office, finance office, whatever you want to call it, where we need to be listening the absolute most, because there are some things that you need and there are some things that you can live without, and there's some things that you can do on your own. I tell anybody, unless you are paying cash for a vehicle, gap insurance is essential. You need gap insurance. Anthony, what is gap insurance? I've said this on plenty of podcasts. I'm going to say it here. Gap insurance guarantees that your vehicle is going to get paid off in the event that it is totaled. Again, let me say that one more time for the people in the back. Gap insurance is a guarantee that your vehicle is going to be paid off in the event that it is totaled. Your loan will be paid off, because Lord forbid that your vehicle is totaled. You no longer have it. You are not driving it. You are not using it. And you are still having to make payments on it, because your bank is going to require you to do so unless the loan is paid off in full. Period. That ain't a dealership thing, because remember, your contract is not between you and I. No. Your contract is between you and whatever financial institution financed the vehicle. So whether that be Wells Fargo, whether that be a credit union, whether that be your local bank, whether that be Navy Fed, whatever the case may be, they are going to come after the remaining balance of the money after your insurance is paid for it. If you do not have gap insurance, they are coming after you. Period. Full stop. Period. And that's for real, for real. So gap insurance is essential. Now, depending upon, where you go, where you purchase your vehicle, gap may add anywhere between $12 to $14 to your payment, depending upon where you go, what dealership you go to, what place that you go to buy your vehicle. That may be $20, $40, $50, $60. That may be $100 more. It is ultimately worth it in the end if your vehicle gets totaled. Can you cancel these products? Sure. That doesn't mean your payment changes. So again, why does my bill change from what I agreed to with my salesperson to what my first bill actually is? Because when you go into finance, they start offering you things and things begin to change. Well, in finance, not only are you signing your state paperwork, your title work, and taxes and all the other junk and all the other jazz, what else are you signing up for potentially? Did you purchase an extended warranty? Because they're going to offer it to you. Yeah. Are you purchasing gap? Because they're going to offer it to you. Are you purchasing tire protection? All these things are optional. Understand that. I'm going to say it again. All the items that they are offering to you that don't already come on the vehicle itself are optional. That tire protection, optional. That extra paint protection, optional. That extended warranty, optional. Even the gap insurance, optional. So when we go into the finance and they give you these, because some people present them so how it should be, they should present everything to you like a buffet. Hey, would you like the tire protection? I'm not saying it's going to be exactly like this, but would you like the tire protection? Because, you have a vehicle that has nicer wheels on it. And with this tire protection, you would get a free tire if your tire blows out. If your wheels get damaged, they will replace the wheel at no cost to you. Hey, would you like to get this extra paint protection? Because, hey, this is a beautiful and nice vehicle and it has a very different, interesting paint on it, color on it. Would you like to protect that? Because if anything happens to you, they will make sure to match up that paint exactly. And that's nothing out of pocket, because painting a vehicle is expensive. Replacing a tire can be expensive, especially on trucks. Replacing a wheel can be double expensive, because more times than not, you have to replace the wheel and the tire. So I get it. That stuff is expensive. especially with these new age vehicles where everything, for the most part, is computer operated. So buying an extended warranty is almost mandatory because remember, the screen that's in your vehicle costs more than some of your transmissions. Oh my God. Let the screen go out and be completely dead, and that has to be replaced. You're talking about a $5,000 fix. Your transmission, for the most part, is only a $3,000 fix. So I get it. And remember, that's a cost. It adds to your payment. Yes, it may seem, hey, for an extra $20 here, $30 here, $50 here, by the time you leave the finance office, you're $120 more than what you agreed to with your salesperson. Understand what it is that you're purchasing, because again, what happened to this young girl is happening everywhere. It's because people are not understanding what it is that they're purchasing. And yes, it's being added to your loan. So you walk out with your salesperson saying that, oh, okay, cool, tax, title, and fees, I'm paying $40,000. After you leave finance, you may be talking about 55 to 60 grand over the lifetime of the loan. Now, whose fault is that? It's not your salesperson, because your salesperson doesn't offer any of that stuff. It's not finance's fault, because guess what? Finance is doing their job by offering you these extra protections. Understand what this is going to do to your payment. And just to do simple math, again, take what they're saying, add the $10 or whatever the case may be, 14, 15, 50, $100, whatever it is, add it to your payment and multiply that just simply by the term of your loan. If it's 72 months, take the 400 and multiply it times 72. If it's 84, take the 400 and multiply that times 72. If it's 800, take 800 and multiply that by the term of the loan. And that will give you pretty much 90% of what you're going to pay if you pay the vehicle off. How can you get out of this? How can you maneuver through all of this? Well, a couple of things. Money down is one. Two, you don't have to keep the vehicle that long. Most people trade in and out of their vehicle within 2 to 4 years. Now, if you're going to trade, you better, at least in today's climate, I'll say right now, today's climate, you better bring some money to the table, because you're probably going to be upside down, because you probably paid an addendum, whether you saw it or not. Now, that's why I say going new is so important, because new vehicles are going to come with the best interest rate possible. So you're not going to be so behind the 8 ball. Money down helps. And if you're trading, you better bring more money down. The consumer now is going to have to make an investment. They're going to have to bring something to the table, because I don't want you to be stuck in a vehicle that's only worth $1,000. You end up paying $24,000 for it if you keep it over the lifetime of your loan. I don't want you to be someone who's going to pay an additional $20,000 for a vehicle over the lifetime of your loan. And with inflation continuing to go up, people are keeping their vehicles longer because they don't want to. Like today, for example, I had a lady come in and she has a 2021 Murano SL, real nice. And for you guys that know what a Murano is, it's a premium, it's a premium vehicle for Nissan, and the SL is pretty loaded. Some are going to have moonroofs, some won't have moonroofs. That's nor here nor there. And currently, right now, she has a 3.2% rate for 84 months. Wow, right? That's pretty remarkable right now, because guess what you're not getting right now? You're not getting 84 months at 3.2%. Sorry, that's not what's going on right now because of inflation. If she were to trade out of her vehicle, and she's currently paying like $540 for it, for a $40,000 vehicle, 40 plus $1,000 vehicle, right? If she would have traded her vehicle, her payments would have jumped to about a $700 payment because of the interest rate. Because right now, if she got 3.2, then she'd be looking at about 7.2. $700, 680, at least $100 more, at least that $100 more for a brand new 2023 Murano, right? Because of the interest rate. Well, what did I do? Well, again, I'm one of these honest folks. I'm not here to, rip anybody off or anything like that. I talked to her against it. I pitched it to her, don't get me wrong, because I wanted her to know her full on options. Hey, I want you to know what you've got right now. You've got a 3.2% interest rate for 84 months. If you were to trade this vehicle because of inflation and where we are financially in the world right now, you'd be looking at 6.9, 7.2, 7.9. And with that, you're talking about $100 at least difference in payment. Your payment going up, And that's just from the interest rate alone. Never mind if she was upside down real bad or anything else. Now we're talking $150, $200, $250, $300 in payment. She didn't want to do that. So guess what? She's in a position where she can wait it out. She's already in the best situation for her. Now, needless to say, I didn't make a sale. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because it's not my job to put people in horrible positions. I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, it's about doing what's right. Now, this young girl that got these $289 payments for 84 months on a vehicle that's not worth that at all, she was doing what was right for her family. So at the end of the day, I want to ask you this. Are you doing what's right for you and your family right now when it comes to purchasing a vehicle? Are you signing up just because the payment's low, or are you putting yourself way behind the 8 ball? Now, if this is something that she plans on keeping for 7 years, she's way behind the 8 ball. She's never going to be able to trade it. She's never going to be able to sell it. I can't even believe a bank did this, and this is happening at buy here, pay here lots all across the country. That's why I say avoid them, especially us as minorities. They take full advantage of us. Unless you're going to go there with some huge money down, you're going to get taken full advantage of. Go to a reputable dealership. Find somebody who will tell you the truth. Because I wouldn't have done this deal. I don't care how bad I need it. I wouldn't have done this deal. So the question is, are you doing in this climate, are you doing right by yourself and are you doing right by your family? Can you afford to date a vehicle right now? Now, that's something she may be doing. She may just be dating this vehicle for a little bit, just so she can, do what she can do until she can do better. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand what you are ultimately signing up for, because I think a lot of the times we don't understand it. I think a lot of the times when we're so excited, oh my God, I got approved, I got a vehicle, and not understanding the term in which we're signing up for. And if we decide that we want to actually keep it for the full term, that I've paid way over for it. I don't think that we fully think it through. I don't think we fully pay attention to when we go into finance and fully see. I don't think we even read the paperwork after we've signed it, because a lot of states don't have a return policy. I know where I am currently here in Georgia, brand new vehicle, you have to go through the lemon law. Yeah, that's right, the lemon law. Meaning there must be something wrong with this vehicle, and it has to be the same problem at least 3 times in a row before they are going to allow you to get out of it. Do you know your state laws when it comes to returning a vehicle or a large purchase? Because some of that can be lengthy. It's not just a quick, easy fix either. What a lot of dealerships are going to do is they're going to trade you out of it and put you even further behind the 8 ball. There's some people right now who are in smaller vehicles, right? Because they traded out of a larger vehicle because they didn't like it or whatever the case may be, and they only had it for a month, that will never be able to get out of their vehicle because they needed relief right now. Well, that's fine. Are you doing your due diligence by making extra payments? Can you afford those extra payments? Are you taking the where in the middle of, well, not in the middle, but in the beginning of tax season? Are you thinking of taking your taxes and putting it down on your vehicle right now to pay down some of that interest? Because that's what you need to be doing. Are you? Maybe, maybe not. All I'm saying is, I'm not here to defend what's going on at dealerships. I'm not here to defend what's going on here in the world and in the economy and outside and at Walmart with the eggs and milk and all this kind of stuff. I'm just saying it's happening. But you play a role in this. And all I can do is give you the information that's here and readily available. If this is a real story, don't be this. Don't be this. Don't be this woman. Please don't. Because you're ultimately going to find yourself. And here's the thing, I don't know if she has a warranty. Probably not with something that's 1998. No one's going to warranty that. She probably can't even get a warranty through a Car Shield, because that only goes up to 200,000 miles or 250,000 miles. Now, I don't know the mileage that's on that vehicle, but there are years too. Don't do this type of stuff, because ultimately this is an example of why we as car salespeople, car associates, car consultants, whatever the case, whatever you want to call us, have bad names because of deals like this. But I do want you to know there are some good ones out there. Hi, my name is Anthony McCurry. I've been a good one since I started 3 years ago. Who will tell you the truth and who will not make a sale just to make sure that you are okay. Sure, I can be ruthless when I want to be, but I choose not to be. Because at the end of the day, I want to make sure we're all better. This isn't better. Signing someone up for $289 car payments for 84 months on a 1998 Ford Escort. It's not right and it shouldn't happen. But it did happen. And things like this are going to continue to happen until we educate ourselves and get better and understand how to buy stuff, how to buy these large ticket items. When we begin to advocate, I wonder if she even had the opportunity to call anybody to even ask, was this a good deal or not? I'm telling you guys out here in TV land right now, that if you feel like you are in a place that you don't know if this is a good deal or not, reach out to me. Please do. I don't care if I can't sell you a car or not. I'm here to make sure that you're not getting screwed. You can find me at themccurryexperience.com. You can reach out to me on Facebook at The McCurry Experience on Facebook and Instagram. All you got to do is send me a picture of your proposal, and I'll tell you if you're getting screwed or not. Because at the end of the day, our job is to be better, especially us as minorities. We can't afford to be further behind the 8 ball than we already are. And things like this should not happen. And yes, this was a black girl, a young black girl. This shouldn't happen. Because it gives all of us a bad name. It makes all of us look like we're crooks. It makes all of us look like we're thieves. It makes all of us look like we are out to get you. And that's definitely not the case. Now, ultimately, she could be doing what is best for her and her family. Fine. I just wonder what the conversation was between her and her salesperson about this. Ultimately, again, like I said, I want us to be better. And the only way that we are going to be better is if we are well informed. This is what this show and other shows like this are for. To make sure that you don't fall into these pitfalls, to make sure that you do not fall into these traps. This has been Anthony McCrary for Behind the Experience, the car show. Again, you can reach out to me, Facebook and Instagram, at the McCrary Experience. You can also find me on YouTube, behindtheexperience.com, the car show. And of course, you can find me on my website, themccraryexperience.com. You guys have a wonderful night. I will see you guys next week. Peace.
You rose before dawn, drove 2 hours for 20 seconds of pure adrenaline. Crazy? Maybe. Skyline Drive staring you down. What you got? Power. Technology. Every RPM pulling you forward. The legs, the arms, all doing the dance. Then, the turbos really start to kick in, punching through. A straight shot. Your reward for your hard work? This. Nearly 7,000 RPM bouncing off the walls, surrounding you in pure, unfiltered exhilaration. Nothing else puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. Nothing feels like a Z.
Valdosta Nissan says pick your payment, then pick your vehicle.
At Valdosta Nissan, we have so many vehicles to sell, we're letting you pick your payment.
Some as low as $199 a month, and some even have zero down. Your vehicle, your payment. It's that easy.
With over 300 company-wide, there's a vehicle for everyone, and you pick the payment. Come see why so many folks buy from Valdosta Nissan every day. All day, every day, Valdosta Nissan has your best deal.